Where am I? You can't see me. You can't see me.
All
Is
right,
it
the
live?
actual goggles were hard, but I have the lenses.
It's fine. These are basically just lenses too.
What are we doing?
What are we doing, dude?
Mine have to magnetize on though. I can't. I don't have the
That's
actual
all good.
ones.
That's all good.
You know what I did? I bought these in Utah, and I like every day I'd like hold them up because one of them's for like cloudy conditions and the other's for sunny conditions, and I'd be like
Yeah.
looking out the window. They literally have a sun on them to like
What?
tell you which one. So it took me 5 days of using these to realize that like they literally have a non-language driven way to know it, like an IKEA package, and I couldn't figure it out myself.
So the oh, let's do it.
Oh, I thought we were live right now.
We're so unbelievably, incredibly, 100% live right now.
I can't
What's
believe
up,
I went and
everybody?
got the goggles and set them up and then found out we were backstage.
Well, it's all there. Are these. So these are. Phil, just real quick. There we go.
Wait, do
That's
they
a lot
actually
better.
attach to your glasses, or does that just
No,
that's
I
just the
just put them
sound of
on.
them
I just
snapping
put them
off?
on over. These are actually what's funny. These are actually paintball lenses, right?
Oh wow.
By this brand HK Army, and it's funny. I took Eliza for the first time to the paintball store because I'm starting to do a little bit of
What?
exposure therapy, getting
What?
her ready. Yeah, she will be a professional paintball athlete by the time she's 15. That's my number one goal in life. I got two goals: get Event Happily 2.0 out there to the masses, and turn my daughter into a professional paintball athlete. That's my 5-year plan.
Fun.
Connor, 5-year plan. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
We're
I'm
without
excited. I'm
Dax. We're
back.
without Dax this week.
I know Dax
All right,
is in New
he's
Orleans, and I couldn't convince him to call. I don't. I think he's with his children, but I was looking
yeah.
forward to just like a slosh Dax
Just
from
being
Bourbon Street, just making phone calls, ripping hurricanes on the happily hour.
ripping hurricanes. Are those the big,
Yeah.
giant,
The big like,
giant
yeah,
drinks?
yeah,
Yeah.
literally exactly like that.
Yeah. I could totally picture him doing it. How selfish of him to be with his family, not with us. Anyway, Dax, if you're watching, we love you, buddy, and we'll miss you. A lot of stuff to talk about this week. Okay, Connor, hold on. First of all, though, a little bit of selfish news. All right, Happily had some news this week. Bundles
Bundles,
2.0 hit hard.
they're
Give us,
incredible.
give woo, what are
Ooh,
bundles
ooh, ah.
2.0? Tell the people real quick. We got a
Okay, so
little
when we
commercial at the
launched
top of the hour. Yeah.
when we launched Go Happily, we had this bundles feature, and it was wrong. And it basically just let you like group some stuff randomly, and it wasn't super useful. So we redid it, and now it's unbelievably awesome.
It's
And
so
so you
sick.
can now, I'll like do it. I'll show it for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I've been
Show it for
posting
two
videos
seconds.
and stuff about it. But
Yeah.
basically, you can now build a bundle in Quahappily. So this is like a MacBook Pro. And then you can configure like, oh, there's different display options, and like this display is free, but this display is more money. And you can have like memory and storage and all these different sort of choices that somebody can do. And then we also have add-ons, which is always requested, which is how do I sell stuff that like gets added on to this package, but I don't sell individually. So like in this bundle, you can buy Logic Pro or Final Cut Pro, but we don't sell those on their own, which means that when you're in HubSpot, am I gonna be able to do that quickly though? Let's do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it real fast. So, like a sales rep in HubSpot.
Yeah.
We also have this cool new deal card. We even I
It's
haven't I saw
sick.
this morning. It's really slick. It groups all your deals
So
by
much
status.
nicer. Yeah.
Um, but when you make a quote and you add a bundle to it, this is like my tiny little window on my monitor. And you add a bundle. We now have the ability to add all your products automatically, which is pretty slick.
Yeah, but I think the thing that you're getting at here is that you're not going to see every single little piece of it just sitting in the product library. That like,
Yeah. All of them
yeah,
auto add. So like you have a
no,
standard display. This is $2,000. You swap the standard display to a nano texture display, and congratulations, it's now $23,499. and then you can be like, oh, but I want add-ons. Like, which add-ons are available for this product, and you can add them, and it's so cool.
It's so cool. And I think the thing like to stress here too, guys, is that like all of these individual things are products in your product library, which means it works with line items, which means it works with reporting, it works with automation. It is the most native you can get when it comes to a CPQ product on HubSpot. So if you're sitting there still thinking in 2025 that HubSpot quoting is bad, it's not anymore because we made it better, right? So go check it out. Anyway, so thank you for that, Connor. Appreciate it. I wanted to get your take on this though. There's been some drama this week. There's been some drama with a company that we like a lot. We're a customer of Rippling, right?
I think like a lot is it's an overstatement, but we do use them and their products are good.
I thought we liked them. Anyway, there's a little bit of little drama that is all the rage right now on LinkedIn, and that is this Rippling versus Deal.
The spy just asked me.
Yeah,
the official term.
The spycraft. I've been looking into this a little bit. I think I kind of have like a general idea of going on, but
I'm pretty sure you're the Happily Spy.
You think I'm the Happily Spy?
I think you're the Happily Spy.
Okay, all right. Which company am I a spy for? What do you think?
I think you're like a free.
You're not like spy for someone who would have.
You're not like a loyalist. It's not like you're an insider. That's like you're spying and it's black market.
Yeah. Okay. So there's someone out there. You think? Okay. So you think there's someone out there in the app market space that I am a spy for?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, maybe. You'll never know. Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. I'm loyal to a fault. Anyway. Yeah. So this is pretty crazy. So apparently, Deal had a spy working at Rippling who was like sending back data about customers from which direction was it going?
I think it's a Deal spy at Rippling, sending Deal updates on any competitive.
Got it. Sale. So if they had Deal customers looking at Rippling to switch to Rippling,
or like a competitive, like if they're looking at both, because usually when people are buying that stuff, they're like looking at multiple options.
Yeah, I was watching a video on it. Leslie Vanette's actually posted a TikTok from somebody named Manager Method. I can't remember what it was, but she actually did like a pretty good breakdown of it. And I think the way they saw it or like caught wind of it is that it looked like people from Deal were trying to like headhunt people from Rippling, and they were doing it by like sending them texts on like their personal phones and stuff. Weird. And they're like, how did you get my number? Or like, how'd you even know I worked here? Because there were people that like didn't even post that they had like been working at Rippling or something like that. But anyway, the whole thing is like super, super fascinating and like kind of wild. But yeah, if you haven't checked that out yet, take a look at it.
It's drama's
a great LinkedIn drama. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Cool. Get into some HubSpot updates, sir. I know that you would kind of I threw it in there, but you would kind of mention that Deal approvals got a facelift.
So not facelift either. I've learned more things since
What's going on?
Yeah, I learned more stuff since I said this morning. So it's not facelift. It's a brand new feature that's completely different than quote approvals, which is Deal approvals that you can now only in Sales Enterprise, but you can now have a stage that's like requires approval. And there's this whole approval workflow thing that gets built around it that you can now do. And it looks cool, but also like pretty confusing if you're using quote approvals. I think the reality is this just sort of emphasizes that a lot of people don't use quotes at all. And so they want that as a Deal approval stage. And so they added some functionality there. The thing that it looks very cool. You should check it out. We see a lot of Deal Desk. Like this comes up all the time. I think that people will get value out of it, but I do think it's a little confusing because it's like, wait, do I approve quotes or do I approve deals? And like, which thing am I approving and when and where? But it is in Sales Enterprise.
Yeah.
And if you have like a finance team or a Deal Desk function or anything like that, like it's pretty cool. It's worth checking out.
So what is it? It basically just like locks the deal in a stage, and then there's certain people who can basically release it from the stage.
And then but similar to the like quote approval process, right? You can do comments, you can like bounce it back and stuff. And then they also added this approval history card, which is pretty slick. It's actually super similar to our quote module approval thing that we put into the deal record that shows you sort of the history of like what happened with this deal and who approved it. And it's cool.
I almost feel like it's almost more advanced than native quote approvals in HubSpot in that, because can't you like select a couple of different people?
You can
to, like,
select a
be
couple
approvers?
people. You can have it be like filtered, so it's not just all deals, right? It's like a specific pipeline or specific conditions, which is pretty cool. So it's worth checking out. I would say if you're excited about deal approvals, though, you should probably look at Cool Happily.
Yes, 100%. The thing that I always tell people is we made quote-based workflows do what you always thought they should be able to do, and that's always with the approval stuff. But yeah, it's pretty nuts. I wanted to talk to you about this. So just because I saw a lot of discourse about it on LinkedIn. So OpenAI launched its own integration with HubSpot that has workflow actions in it that seem very similar to those new Ask Breeze workflow actions, right? That you could like ask it a question and then you could like sort it down branches, essentially. Have you seen this yet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super cool. Is it a beta or is it released? Like, what is it?
I think it's in beta. It's yeah, okay. So yeah, you could apply for the beta, right? But it looks kind of similar in that you go and give it a prompt and then you basically have it go down. Let me look here. You're basically having it, you're branching on the responses of whatever it tells you, right?
It also doesn't. So this is where I think that like the Breeze stuff gets confusing because it doesn't use Breeze credits. Like it's just free.
No, it's using your OpenAI.
Yeah, it's your
account,
OpenAI key.
essentially, right? So like I could imagine that this is going to be good if you've taken any time to like train your GPT to like really understand your business, right?
I think
like,
it's cool if you're doing anything. Like I think about the amount
True.
of stuff that we do. Like we do like a standard process that we have set up on a lot of different things that we do is like just open text capture. So like open
Yeah.
text deal lost reasons, open text how did you hear about us? And then we had a workflow previously where like, you know, once a month, once a quarter, or whatever, we would go grab that data, upload it, translate it with a GPT, and then like put it into reportable fields and data. You can now just do that in a workflow action instantly all the time, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. And like what I'm wondering is that is this workflow action like only something that lets you branch on single responses, or like could you ask it, like could you say, hey, go do research on like this domain and like drop in a company domain, and then when it gives you the response, could you just take that response and like put it into like another field? Oh, okay. So it's not, got it. So it gives you a response, but in this, you know, I'm looking at the screenshot that they
But
gave.
you can push that response into a field also.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can push it into a field. All right. That makes more sense. Because I thought this was really just kind of like locked into doing these like single word response, like branching things. But now that I see it,
you can also like you can build a prompt using fields. So let's say you have like a whatever, right? Like company property, contact property, last resolved tickets. Like here's all the context. Here's what's going on. You know, recommend a next action of one of these three choices, and then you could build a branch that references that act. Like you can start doing a lot of very cool composability type stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that the big thing, the discourse that I saw is that people saying like, oh, this means that HubSpot's already getting rid of Breeze. No, that's not what that means, guys. Everyone chill out. Like there's always going to be integrations with other AI tools, and that doesn't mean that like just because HubSpot may work with OpenAI a little bit directly as like a strategic integration partner, which is probably what's happening here, because you know there's some apps that are built only by the third party, and then there's other apps that are built hand in hand with HubSpot. You generally see that with like the bigger brands out there where like, you know, both sides see that there's a benefit in like an integration here. This doesn't mean that Breeze is dying. Breeze literally just got here. So everybody,
I don't think anyone said that.
No, someone did say that. I literally saw a post where someone's like,
all right, well, that's dumb.
The end of Breeze already?
Like,
it's not. Everyone just calm down. Calm down. All right, here's the next one I want to talk about. All right, how much have you looked into like the object library stuff? The new object, a decent amount. Okay.
Yeah.
I think they finally came out with an object that I'm happy with, and I don't have any gripes about, and that is the services object is finally here, right? And the reason I think this is very special is because, let's be honest, ever since the ticket object came out, that thing has been holding a lot on its back, right? Like before we had custom objects, the ticket object kind of like ended up being that sort of
the extra spork in the back.
Oh yeah, just make a different pipeline and your tickets could be literally anything you want them to be, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I got one for support things, one for onboardings, one for service deliveries, one for this, one for that, and then all of a sudden you got like 1,000 different use cases for the ticket, right? And then we got custom objects, which is great. You could kind of like take the burden off of like all the different things the ticket was doing. But now we have this like services object finally, right? Which I think is great for like wait, is there an onboarding object?
No.
There isn't. Okay. So I think great for service delivery if that's like actually, you know, how your company makes money delivering services. Or I think even so, like anything that is onboarding related, I think it's great. Here's the other thing. It's getting built directly into the customer success workspace too as well, right? So when you're in the customer success space, I believe if you have that service object turned on, right, now you'll actually see it inside there as like one of the tabs at the top, which is pretty sick. But the thing, Connor, the thing that really bothers me, and I wanted to like bring this up with you about the other objects in the object library, is that I feel like they're just kind of like creating these objects that kind of don't have a point in being there out of the box if there isn't any like additional unique functionality that goes with them, right? So
it's not solving a product problem.
I know, but
it's solving a positioning problem. It's like, oh yeah, we have HubSpot. You're a real estate company. Look, we have this real estate data model.
Yep.
And you
so
can
get that,
click it and install it.
I get that, right? And it's an object called listings. But I think what comes next is people go, oh, cool. Where's your MLS integration?
I don't know that that's, I think that ends up happening. It's like, oh yeah, you can integrate with stuff. We got OpsHub, we got partners, we got like, that's just like par for the course for everything. I think the more frustrating piece here is that they have these objects. Custom objects are still limited to enterprise, and custom objects are not as full featured. And I think the object library is cool.
It's cool, but I can just imagine the tickets coming in, right? It's like, oh yeah, we've got this appointments object. And when you're someone who doesn't understand the nuances of HubSpot and you get someone to go, oh cool, yeah, we could book appointments. Okay, great. And then there's no way for someone to actually book an appointment and you have to build it all manually every single time. Like, I just think it's like a little bit like
it's baby steps. It's baby steps. It's baby steps.
It is true. And I should shut up because I'm also the one that goes, guys, it's baby steps, relax, right? Like every time we see a new feature, and you know, me and Kyle are talking about it on the Monday show. But like I just think it's weird to put out something like an appointments object and not say like, oh wait, we actually don't have a way that people can easily book these appointments, right? Because it's way more nuanced than we thought. And we thought that just building an object all of a sudden meant it had a feature. And that's dangerous because sales reps are going to see that and go, yeah, you can use this to book appointments. And then the poor implementation specialist is going to get it and be like, this does not work the way you thought it did, right? And so, I don't know. I'm just, it's a slippery slope is what I'm going to say. And it's, I'm feeling.
More objects is better.
I know. And I'm just feeling a lot of empathy for my my services brethren is what I'm going to say, because I know what this leads to, right? You know, it's the same thing when the meetings tool came out, and all of a sudden I started getting customers assigned me that were hair salons, and they were saying, how can we use the meetings tool to book hair salon appointments? Oh, I've got 8 different chairs and 7 different employees. How does this work? And I go, oh, do they have Google Meeting, like Google Calendar accounts? And they're like, no, they're cutting hair. And I'm like, okay, this is awkward. And so I'm worried about that happening again. Anyway.
There's also something else that's very cool, which is available for app partners. That's brand new that I stumbled. Shout out Daniel Zarek for sending this to me and saying, yo, did you see this? And being like, no. I also think it's like gone now. Hold up.
Was it in the product updates?
I'm now wondering though, like, hold up, this was here yesterday and now it's gone. So I don't know what happened to it. It was here and now it's gone.
What was the spirit of what it was?
Oh no, it's in here. It's in here. I just don't know how to find it. Okay. So if you're an app partner and you have an app listing that exists, you brand new, you have this thing, which is incredibly cool, which is page views by domain last
Oh,
month for your app listing. So these are authenticated users that are logging into a HubSpot account, hitting the marketplace, and then visiting your app listing and their views to your app listing.
sick.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's funny?
It only is last month. It's hard coded to last month. So I'm pretty sure this is like a batch job that runs somewhere and then they're putting it into some other
Oh, it has to
database and
be.
like reports is accessing it. But we never knew this before. So like
This is sick.
more
I
stuff
think
is better.
They're starting to give a lot more tools to app developers. I remember I was going over the
You know
new
what's also unreal? I saw this today too.
show me.
I've never seen this before. On HubSpot/new,
Yeah.
there is an app marketplace tab.
No shot.
Yeah.
Wow. And they're putting
So-
it right next to Braze. That's what we call real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's what we call good real estate. Location, location, location. It's starting to get a lot more love, I think, right? And I think
agree.
even too. Like,
Shout out to whoever. I mean, I don't know who. I would say I've noticed a pretty marked change in probably carrying, probably Greg Karolitz, probably Carolee Sarabin. Thanks to all of you.
yeah.
And I think that the approach here is like been really awesome, and we're appreciating it. And we're seeing more love happen on the app developer side, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it just like a week or two ago where they did the ability to like edit reviews?
Yep.
I think there's a lot more
Love
there
coming
was
to app
something in
marketplace
there
for sure.
recently about like certain like events. It's like passing back to like the app developers and stuff like that too as well, which is really great. And I saw today there's actually a couple things that came out. Like we're finally getting some APIs for the new forms editor, right? That third-party apps can start to use in terms of like events on actual like submissions and failed submissions, and like forms getting created and getting turned on and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that's like a sign of what's to come, or maybe we can start integrating those new forms editors into like Event Happy a little bit. I'm like super stoked on that stuff. So that's going to be super cool. And now speaking of apps, you put a little note in here to give a little shout out to Account Scout. Is that what I'm seeing?
I just think it's interesting. I think that the we can give a shout out to Account Scout, I suppose. I don't know if I would. I now I'm sounding like I don't want to endorse it, which wasn't at all what I was doing, nor was I endorsing. I think so. Stuart Balcombe for Connected GTM did Account Scout, which is replacing. He basically sort of saw HubSpot Insights going away, moving into Breeze Intelligence credits as part of sort of the Clearbit acquisition and all that other stuff. And he launched Account Scout, which does the free
Account Scout
HubSpot Insights. I think he has a paid tier for some other stuff. I honestly haven't looked at it that hard. But what I thought was really interesting is that like Insights is going away. It's moving into a monetized sort of function. And there are people now that exist in and around the ecosystem that are quickly saying like, oh man, we should patch that. Now, I don't know. I have a lot of conversations with folks that want to build stuff in and around HubSpot. And I would say that like, I wouldn't recommend building a business around making a free or a lower cost alternative to a monetized HubSpot offering.
Scary.
But
Scary.
if you're an individual and you're building stuff and you have another business, and like for Stuart, he's driving, brand reputation, is driving stuff to Connected GTM. Like there's a strategy there that's super, super interesting. And I think that that's true for anybody. Like Dax just did when he talked to the Profoundly folks, he was talking about like how to build it, like how to identify what to build if you want to build an app and things of that nature. I think that's super interesting.
Well, dude, I mean, that's how like Happily built its reputation for so long, is like
Totally.
being the hero Gotham needs and listening and saying like, oh, hey, there's a lot of people.
We're
really
way more
pissed
fun
off
than
about
Batman.
This one, I know we're cool. But it's like, oh, hey, there's a lot of people pissed off about this one thing that's like lacking. Let's go and make it. And like, you'd be surprised how much the community and the users appreciate it and love you when you can like target this one little stupid freaking headache that everybody has, right? And build an app to solve for it, right? And dude, that's I think valuable all in itself, even if it doesn't mean it's going to turn into like $1 million ARR product, right? Like, you know, being able to.
I also think like, God, I'm gonna say the annoying thing that people are saying on stages at conferences and stuff, but I do think that there's the old framework of hire a bunch of people, raise a bunch of money, build a SaaS product, cash flow the VC stuff, do these pieces. Like you can do something as an individual person using AI tools and no code tools and some of these other pieces, and like build a small scale business that's not going to be a venture scale company. It's not going to be something that somebody acquires, but it's something that like can produce revenue and meaningfully, and one person can manage, and like that's super cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's a lot there, dude. There's still. I don't want people to see apps getting cannibalized by HubSpot and discourage them from building stuff in this ecosystem, since like we're still at it's still the ground floor in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? And I think there's still just, you know, there's so much that can be built on this platform still. And you know, when you see stuff like that, when you see HubSpot come out with a feature that like, you know, cannibalizes something that's in the app store, it doesn't mean don't build on it, right? It just means like you got to find the stuff that HubSpot's not going to do, and that takes a lot of trial and error. And also, you can't predict the future, right? That should never, like, I think, you know, distress someone from like just going out and doing it and building it. And to be honest, like we need a lot of competition in the market if we're all going to like, you know, have a reason to make our stuff better, right?
Everyone builds stuff. Like
seriously.
we're pro people building stuff of all varieties.
Hop in the pool with us. The water is so nice, dude. It's so nice. Get in. And yeah, dude, are we on time today?
We're on time. It's because we don't have Dax, so we have one less person trying to smash up airtime, and therefore can fit everything in 30 minutes.
That doesn't mean we don't miss you, buddy. Please come back.
Indeed,
Mazael, you gonna play us, guys?
Bye.
Sick.
We good?
Look.